Welcome to Talking Junk.
I'm your host, Jason Melendez.
Live now every week on Fridays.
Talking Junk.
A multitude of professionals in different aspects, different walks of life.
You have to come on and talk junk like a normal person.
Welcome to Talking Junk, the podcast that comes to you live every Friday night from Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. And if you miss us live, you can always catch us on Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, or wherever you listen to your podcast. How you doing tonight, Tyler?
Hey, you know what? Doing all right. Better than last week. I'll tell you that.
Well, at least we can say that. It's always progress.
How you
Let's
doing?
get right. I'm doing all right, man. You know, the week wears you down, but the break room's tomorrow, so I get to chill out.
Word. Should be fun.
But it's back to business as always on Friday nights. Let's not hesitate to welcome our guest, Miss Sue Dhillon.
No.
How you doing tonight, Sue?
Hey guys, great to be here. How are you guys?
We're doing pretty good.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Pleasure's all ours. Well, why don't we just get right
Yes.
into it? And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
A little about me. I am Sue Dhillon. I'm a mindfulness trainer and former network journalist. I work independently now. I'm a writer and an energy worker.
Now, I have a couple of questions. What is a mindfulness trainer and what is an energy worker?
Great.
That's great.
Right.
So a mindfulness trainer. So I actually teach mindful communication, which is it's communication mindfully, right? So
Telepathy?
yeah, a little telepathy actually. So you show up completely aware, you're engaged, you're there, you're all in, and that's mindfulness, incorporating mindfulness into the communication.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
And what about an
there's-
energy worker?
Energy worker, that is just, I'm actually a trained and certified Reiki master. I don't do it for a living.
Colin's always right.
And friends and family, but it's a form of just tapping into your angels and guides and gurus and having them work through you. It's like a massage for my soul when I do it, 'cause, yeah, it's really powerful. You're tapping into a higher source and they're working through you. You do it and you can send healing to people, to a circumstance, a situation, to the past, the future, Fallon. Future.
Very true. Maybe I should just change my name to Great Future up here. Same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So regarding the Reiki, I'm somewhat familiar with that because I actually went to school for massage therapy. And one of the things that they incorporated was mindfulness and just like aware of like the spiritual aspect, not just the medical and physical aspect of massage training. And I had one Reiki class that we took, and we also did I forgot exactly what it's called, but involves using your thumbs and going on your different lines for different therapies. Regarding Reiki, is like energetic cleansing something that you do, or do you focus on different aspects of Reiki?
We are taught energetic cleansing and reading auras and all of that, right? And kind of the more you do this work, the more I tap in and connect, the more intuitive I become, the more it kind of opens up your, chakras, your crown chakra. You start receiving information and, people don't realize that it's really accessible to any and all of us. You don't have to be a trained and certified, anything. You can reach out and talk to your spirit guides and angels and whatever. They're there, they're listening. And yeah.
Okay. How now Did you get into Reiki and then search in the mindfulness realm, or was it you becoming mindful yourself that led you into the energetic world of Reiki and everything like that? What kind of got you there? Because it's a little bit different from journalism.
It is very different. And I've always been spiritual. I grew up around meditation and yoga. So I've been practicing it for a couple of decades, like probably when you guys were in diapers still, but
we're not that young. Well, I'm not that young.
Okay. Well,
we're both in our 30s.
Okay. Well, I've got you guys beat. I'm old enough to be your mamas. So, yeah.
I don't know. My mom she's almost 60.
Okay. Well, I'm almost 50. So there you go. But
okay.
but I'm just choosing, guys, but yeah, that was I've just always been spiritual. I'm a writer and a journalist by trade, but I've just always kind of had the spiritual, part of me. So that's kind of what led me down the path after many years as a network journalist.
So what did you break into first? Did you break into writing first or network journalism?
Well, it's kind of the same thing as a journalist. I mean, we write, we tell stories, and I've done that for years. I started in radio. I was.
Did you just say the news is fake?
Well, I'm not in the news business anymore, and I always tell people you gotta read, you gotta know the facts. You can't just get your source or your information from one source, right? We wanna be open-minded and kind of, right? Be getting
exactly.
it.
Except if that source is this show or our other show, The Break Room, then you should believe everything we tell you.
Exactly.
Especially if one day you see us and we're not there anymore.
Okay.
If we disappear, then we told you something.
Exactly. If we're unalived, then
And if you guys disappear, then I might be wondering, I might be like, okay, wait, maybe that was all fake.
This is the moment that if we go unalived, we're speaking the truth.
Exactly. Exactly.
So what did you like most? Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
No, you're good. There's a lag on my end. Go ahead.
How long were you in journalism and like news and everything like that? How long, did you become jaded at some point, or did you just kind of get guided to do something different?
I was in the news business. I actually started out in radio. I, as an intern for Don Blue, who's a big radio guy out here. I was then an intern for Sway. You guys probably know Sway.
Oh.
Yes.
You ain't got the answer, Sway.
Yes, that's Sway. So that was at KMEL, and that's kind of where I started my broadcasting career. And then I went into TV and have worked in multiple markets, multiple TV newsrooms for ABC, CBS, Fox affiliates. And it was just, I was so young back then, and it's just so cool, having a press pass and access to all of this stuff. And
that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. And you just never know where you're going to be tomorrow and who you're going to be talking to, what you're going to be covering. But then, there is an aspect to news, and I'm not knocking news here, but there is an aspect to it where it's, you're limited. Right. So, you're limited with what you can say. You're limited, in a lot of ways. And a lot of it is, it can be, it's hard and a tough business because there's a lot of kind of negative stuff, right? I mean, that whole, if it bleeds, it leads. That's kind of very true, right? So, yeah.
Well, me and Tyler had a little bit of that ESP going on too, so that's pretty good because I was going to ask the same question. Since we covered that one, I was going to ask what your favorite job was, whether it would be, sway or journalism, but it had to be sway.
Sway is great. I love that man. We say hi here and there, but it was really an amazing experience to be. I mean, I can share some stories, Jason. Just being in the studio with Sway, and then other.
Well, now, why don't you do that? Tell some stories.
Yeah, not those kind of stories, but just hanging out with Sway one-on-one, and then having people coming in, and some of the, and he's just hilarious, and we had a lot of great laughs and stuff. So it was really, really incredible, to work with him, and that was so long ago, right?
I get it. It's some stories you can't say on live.
No, it's not.
We'll talk later.
Okay. It's not those kinds of stories at all. So, but it was just, it really was a lot of fun. So, but then the news business was also amazing. I mean, I got to do so many fun, amazing things. And again, like I say, you just never know, you're talking to politicians, celebrities, and then, covering other really cool stuff. And,
Were you always behind the scenes, or were you ever in front of the camera?
I was on camera as a reporter, but I've been a producer, I've been a writer, I've been a field producer. I've really done a lot of different things. I have been on camera as well, reporting, and it was amazing. But then it just, I knew I wanted to kind of keep doing this, being a journalist, writing, sharing, telling other people's stories. But that kind of negative part of it, of the news
kind of gets you down, right?
It really does. I mean, you're dealing with fatal accidents, murders, having to go to
court. Some of it you have to keep to yourself.
Yeah, you do. And then, right. And I'll say, I mean, you can talk to the cops, and you're limited with what soundbite you can air, right? It's
wow.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of kind of stuff to it. And again, don't want to be bashing anybody, but it just, it is what it is. And I was so young going into it, got to do so many amazing things. Having a press pass is amazing. I've been, backstage, and I've done so many different things, but
hopefully when the big dangers of COVID is over, maybe Talking Junk can earn its own press pass and get in there.
Hey, you know what? You guys are doing amazing things. This is so cool. I love that you're doing this, going live, and having your own cool conversations. So
thank you. And it's more because of you. If you never answer these emails, I'll never have any guests, and then I'm just here talking to myself and Talon, and then to myself when he goes answer calls. But you got a book out, right?
I got a book out. Yep, I got a book out. I have another one coming out. My book is about mindful communication, what we were talking about. It's heart to heart. And it's just about, the most powerful way to communicate. How do we show up? And the thing, Jason, I'm all about communication. We're just we're not having those deeper conversations. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're not. We're too scared. Well, I would say most of us are scared, because if you join us in the break room, we tend to have those conversations.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about those conversations. So I'm talking about the heart to heart. Are you guys crying together and telling each other how much you guys love each other? And I'm talking about that conversation.
We do not cry.
We haven't gotten there yet.
But I do tell my crew I love them.
Heart to heart. I mean, we get real, but we haven't cried.
Yeah, I tell my crew I love them after every episode.
Oh, I like that.
We share love by we got our love. We show it in ways that maybe others may not be they don't love each other, but yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Don't worry about it. I did want to, before, I know he was asking you about your book, but while I was sitting there, I wanted to ask you, what was your most favorite story you ever covered, or was able to cover, or just sticks out to you that you're just oh man, that was it, the climax of being involved in the news world?
That would probably be, and recently that kind of came up for me was 9/11. On September 11th,
Really?
I was producing a morning show in Reno at ABC. I was the morning show producer, 5:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. West Coast time. So literally we had just gone on air, and when that first plane hit, and all hell broke loose, and it was really very climactic, and just, I mean, we all know what happened, but
I was living in New York when that happened. I was a freshman in high school.
Oh my God, were you really?
Yeah. I didn't take it serious for a little while, and then my mother came running down the hallway, and then I took it a little more seriously.
Yeah, I mean,
I was bowling.
You were what?
Yeah.
I was duck pin bowling.
Oh, and
I was homeschooled as a kid.
Going on out there, you're just bowling away.
Actually, I actually remember it happening because there was a television that they had there, and the adults that were there in the alley, including my mom, and because I was there with my friends, and this was our gym because we just play outside for that because we're homeschooled. And they were all watching the television screen, and we would stop and look at it and see what was going on, but we were there bowling, we were having fun.
You tend to never forget that first body that jumped up the towers.
Yeah, well, right after that, that's when I realized, when the day's agenda completely changed, I was like, oh, something happened. It was quite an event.
You were much younger.
Yeah, I'm only 30. I said 30s, but I am only 30.
Wow! So oh my God, you guys were little babies. That's why you were playing.
I was at least.
He's got 15, 20, 30 years on me. So
no, I do not.
It's a.
I'm only 34, motherfucker.
Hey, you know what, guys? You're gonna grow up one day, and you guys are gonna be just proud to be men, real men.
Hey, I'm proud to be a real man now.
You know what? I hit that around 30. Around 30. It took a while, but around 30 I felt that. But you know what? That's actually a bit more unfortunate than I was hoping for a story.
Young adult, that's when it hits
you. Do you happen to have a more happy story that you covered that you can recall, or just not really, unfortunately?
No, I mean, this is what I was sharing with Jason. News is hard. There were so many amazing things I got to cover and do, I mean, the air show in Fresno, you're working, and I'm out there in an open cockpit plane flying over, the newsroom, right? That was work,
right?
Covering different festivals and, whatever's going on. And so that was really amazing. Yeah,
that's cool. Definitely makes it sound a little less soul sucking as it kind of seems like it can be, especially once you leave, I guess, the local level. Once you get more national, it just seems like it's a cut and dry fakery. This is what we're doing. This is how we do it. Don't you dare try to do it differently. But it sounds like you didn't really get to that point. You were more on the Bruce Almighty point where he was true and righteous and just covering the town and the areas. And,
Yeah, I mean, there was just so much, I mean, working in the city in San Francisco, Oakland at KTBU, and ABC in Fresno, working in Salinas, like I said, at the, CBS and Fox, we cover PGA, and just all kinds of different stuff. So there's always different cool stuff going on, but again, that kind of negative aspect, it's draining, it's hard.
It can be draining. Now, when you say we're not having those conversations, what kind of conversations are you talking about?
And, I was being facetious, Jason, but I'm sure you guys are not having those certain kinds of conversations. Oh, hey, here's my book.
Is it those heart-to-heart conversations you're talking about?
Yeah, those heart-to-heart conversations. And that step one to powerful dialogue is listening, right? And not just listening, but listening at length. Where
say it louder for the people in the back, Sue.
listening at length. You know what I mean? Where you just let people speak at length, right? You kind of, and you really allow them. When was the last time somebody did that for you, right? Where they were kind of like, Jason, what's really going on? Like, tell me what's going on. Is there something bothering you? Where are you at? What are you working on? Where do you want to go deeper with yourself? You know, that kind of conversation.
Looking at it now, I'm blessed to have a couple people that actually ask me more than maybe I should be asked. So it's a blessing, but I know there are people out there that don't have that, and they can have that.
Right. Yeah.
It's not hard to find. That's even something you can pay for nowadays.
Right. Exactly. But you know, it's not the same, right? When you pay for it, it's what, with a therapist, a counselor, but it's different when you're sharing with a loved one, right? When somebody, a family member, a sibling, a close friend says, hey, I know you're going through something. I'm just here to listen, man.
Yep. Because like Little Nas X said this morning on the Breakfast Club, he said he went to his first therapy session and he didn't want to go back because right after he poured his heart out to this lady, he was crying and everything in front of her first session. The first text she sent him was about payment. So it kind of takes out all the emotion once somebody throws money into the mix.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You know, and you know, this person, it's so different when it's someone that you're already connected to, right? When you're actually someone you love, you care about, they care about you. It's a whole different game when we can show up in that way for people, right? And especially
you're
men.
almost always guaranteed to cry.
Right. Yeah. And it can be a beautiful thing. You're stronger, tougher when you come out. When you have a good cry, you know.
A beautiful thing emotionally, because some of you motherfuckers are ugly when you cry.
Hey, you know what? You look pretty after it's over. We all look pretty.
Oh, no, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about the drunkers out there. They know who I'm talking about.
Okay.
He's talking about Kim Kardashian specifically.
Well, that's
she
why
gets
she
paid
wears
to do
the
it.
t-shirt.
She gets paid to ugly cry, and like that's
Oh,
wrong.
that's sad.
I mean, she gets paid really well to ugly cry. Give me a Kardashian check. I'll ugly cry every time.
All right.
And
Happy cry, ugly cry.
Can we even call it an ugly cry, you guys? I mean, she's so beautiful. You know what I mean? She looks good even when she cries. I probably, you know what I mean?
She's straight.
Unfortunately.
Right.
I mean, honestly, she set an unfortunate beauty standard for people. It's like there's a lot of clones out there from surgeries, and it's really, really weird.
Majority of them
that's not even what she looks like. Like she doesn't really look like how she did look like, and people are trying to look like how she looks like now, and it's just like, wow, this is deep. But
you know,
entirely different conversation going on there.
When it's not the worst transformation in the family, there's a problem.
Okay.
That's fair.
If you look at Kylie's before pictures, you'll never know it's the same girl.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. And you know, you guys, it's just for me even more, and I hear what you're saying. It is disturbing because this is kind of what are we teaching our kids and people? And, you know, it's not reality, right? It's so far from reality, but all of these little girls are emulating this. And for me, the bigger
and boys,
right?
It happens to boys too. Boys are emulating what's happening on TV too. And we were just talking about this just before the show, which is pretty cool.
And what is your guys' take on this?
Well, you and the Junkers will have to wait a couple of weeks to find out in the break room.
Okay.
We're gonna have an episode, and you are willing. If you're willing, you can join us in the break room and discuss this with us in a few weeks.
Oh, I would love to. I would love to do that, but I am interested. So no, you guys aren't going to tell me what this is about right now? Little teaser?
I mean, we want to keep them waiting a little bit.
Okay.
I think there might not just be totally, fully developed thoughts and opinions on it. That's more or less why. That's why
honestly, it's more than a one sentence opinion. It's more of a thesis.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that in general, the kind of I'm sorry, I had a brain fart. Can you please reiterate the question for me so I have somewhere somewhere fresh to start with? Because I'm all over the place. If you haven't noticed,
It's that hospital air, man. It's getting to you.
Yeah, it's this tiny little room. There's not a lot of circulation.
Well, I
Stay
love
there.
that you're able to multitask like this on a Friday night. I mean, now that is cool. That is really, really cool.
You should
It
see
is
him on a
true,
Saturday when
unfortunately.
everybody around him is drinking.
Oh boy, I cannot imagine. I can only imagine. He's probably really multitasking.
And surprisingly, he's probably
Yeah.
the more irate one on the show.
That's not true necessarily. I just play
Depending
my
on the
part.
topic.
That is funny. So yeah, now you guys were saying, but it sounds like Jason's wants to hold on to his marbles.
Jason knows that I have plenty
Right.
to say on topics, so I don't mind giving you a little bit. I know Jay would want to hold his to the chest as he would want to. It's his show, so he should kind of hold it closer. But I don't mind because I did ask you to ask us questions. So you're asking the question. I'm not going to completely deny it, but I would need it again just so that way I can give you something to work with.
Well, we were talking about, just this whole social media thing and this, the Kardashians and how that's kind of a bad, setting a bad example for girls. And Jason said, well, boys too. So
That's
So-
part of my thoughts on it. It's not just women that are given the bad outlook. It's also men
right. And
in every form and fashion.
right.
So in that regard, I think there is a over-sexualization movement that's going around, and it's masquerading as other things, and it's frankly being harmful and presenting itself in children's educations, lives, media, whatever it is, starting to pop up in ways in the guise of it being education when it literally has no reason to be there.
The
This
sad
also
part
can
about
step
it,
into other things like race theory and all that stuff. Them trying to put that into children's things. It gets very, very ridiculous. And I believe that currently the conversation isn't really about the concept. It's really about where it's at now and whether or not it has crossed the line. And I personally think it has crossed the line because there are places for sexualization and things like that, but it's not everywhere. And it damn sure isn't in an elementary school.
it shouldn't be in an elementary school, but the problem is it's there and it's been there. Probably let me not say probably. It has been there since before our time in elementary school. Since before
Yeah, but not to
our
this
time.
level.
No, not
Like
to this
it's
level.
line stepping.
Each generation, each decade gets more and more comfortable with sexuality, and that's why it becomes such a phenomenon in the media and in children's play areas all across the world.
I have a different
Playgrounds,
position on it, to be honest.
schools. Well, I got 3 kids, so I see it take shape, and it's not a fun thing.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just have a different position as to why. Like there's the sexualization of things, but that's where I would kind of pause and say you should come on with us or check out the show when we have it. 'Cause we'll
Well,
definitely talk more about it.
But I will say, you guys, I mean, for both of you, I think it's so cool that you guys are even having this conversation as young men, because a lot of men, they're not, because it's not cool to kind of, you know what I mean? Because that's what's cool. So everyone just kind of goes with it.
Oh,
But
you're definitely gonna love the break room then, Sue, because last Saturday we talked about the topic was slut. Is it a societal? Now I gotta pull up. I wrote the thing, and now I gotta pull up the graphic. Just to see what
He tried to make it sound really smart. We were
Really
really asking
smart.
a simple question.
and so smart, I can't remember what I said.
So we were essentially asking, can women only be sluts as opposed to men? That's kind of what the topic
oh,
was.
right. Oh, I like
That's
that.
the just
I like
to it.
that.
But
Yeah, and
And
I actually
so shape.
just read something about this where it's kind of like there is a double standard though, right? Where men can be aggressive and go out and do whatever and be gaming on women. But if women, want to,
Societal sexism or gender specific?
yeah, That's what
And
he's trying
it
to say.
shouldn't be gender specific, but in society it really is.
Right. Right. And I think, obviously technology now, I mean, we have little kids, right? 10, 11, 12-year-olds with cell phones. And I don't know that everybody's parent is regulating the phone, right? I mean, kids are on, Kim Kardashian was talking about her kid was on TikTok, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
why is your 6 or 7-year-old on TikTok? That's
Yeah,
not
no, my daughter's 12 and she's not on TikTok.
right. Right. So
But you got to be careful nowadays with whatever social media you give them or whatever internet access you give them. Because my 4 and 6-year-old, they go on YouTube, and I have to constantly tell them to get off of YouTube, because then they wander into stuff that they put out there like fan fiction. And my daughter's showing me something where Sonic is pulling off somebody's head. So there's these things that people put on there just for malice, just to hurt your children, just to show
Right.
them these things that they're not supposed to be seeing. And
Right.
I don't agree with it at all.
And what I do appreciate though about you and your kind of philosophy on this is, so we're so used to just culturally blaming, suing, throwing other people under the bus, where, I mean, when we have these school shootings, right? It's like, I want to talk to these parents. How do you not know, right? How do you not know?
There's no way in the world that you didn't know that your son took your gun and was going to school to kill the people that he told you he was being bullied from.
Right. Right. Or just your kid is so miserable that he might snap. And again, not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but, parents have to take ownership here, right? For what you're
There are more parents that need to be thrown under the bus. Let's just be honest. It needs to be said. We don't hold enough parents accountable. We blame the kids and we get away from the actual source of the problem.
It's not that we're
That's why they was talking about guns being a problem, and then the kid or the person who killed the victims as an issue, as opposed to, well, what was going on in that home life? What drove that young individual to want to kill other people and themselves?
Exactly.
And where did they get the gun? Not that guns kill people. It's always a change in narrative and never a look at what the actual problem is. Excuse me again.
He could barely get his thoughts off sometimes.
Oh, no, but blaming people and pointing the finger versus owning. And this is why those deeper conversations, right? Just getting back to kind of what I teach, why that's so important. Because Jason, you and I know if our kids are ready to go blow up the school tomorrow, if we're talking to them, having deep, meaningful, heartfelt conversations with them, we're going to know something's up with them. Right.
Exactly. You may not know the whole plan, or excuse me.
Right. Yeah.
But you will know something. You'll get a feeling, and usually your gut feeling is the right feeling.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way a distraught 12 or 13, 15-year-old is going to keep from me that something's seriously wrong if you're seriously dialed in and listening. Prodding your kid in a loving way, asking them, hey, you seem really quiet. Hey, what's up? Hey, let's talk. I want to help you, whatever. But that's got to be a day in and day out. That's not a one and done conversation, right? That's being like showing up for your children like that every day and taking that ownership.
Very much so. And do it with your troubled loved ones too. They need that too, because it doesn't just turn into somebody shooting up the school. It could turn into somebody shooting themselves.
Right. Right. And there is so much of that here, the suicide rate. Yeah, it's insane, right? And
especially since COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And don't even get me started on vaccinations right now. Don't even get me started.
Me either.
Let me tell you, that whole thing has literally changed the course of my life right now.
This is one of the reasons why I'm hoping.
Like you said, don't want to talk about it, but
we need to make it big really soon, so that way we can start paying the bills with these podcasts and not have to worry about these people's vaccinations.
We should do a vaccination episode. That'll get us views.
Hey, so is we saving this one for the break room too, or what?
Oh, vaccinations?
I mean,
no,
no,
we
I
pretty
would.
much say on every show that we're not for it. I'm not getting vaxxed.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
I'm not this for, especially the way they're going about it. It's just so unbelievably absurd. And the statement said, and the circular talk, and the lies, and the this is not true. And then as time goes by, more science, more doctors being like, "Yo, we should pump the brakes here." The complete exclusion of what people outside the world are saying.
Not
Shit
to
going on
mention
in
the man that
Australia.
made the
Shit going down
the
south.
vaccine.
There's so much going on due to this. The
One of the
economic
people that made the
downturn that we're going to be
vaccine said
seeing
we
soon.
shouldn't take
The
it.
inflation. There's so much we haven't seen yet from the year before that's piling up more now, and it's going to explode. And it's just,
How about
there's
the
so
new
much.
diseases? How about the new diseases being discovered, targeting the people that COVID can't get to, i.e., the children?
Bring it on.
Hey, we got a gorilla chest pump. Okay.
That's right. I got that natural immunity. That's what I'm signaling. Got that gorilla immunity. I hope. I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, it's very questionable the things that they're doing. Nobody's done an mRNA type of vaccine. They're pushing it on when it is in fact still in clinical trials. This is an experiment, and they're acting like it's not. And the fact that it's at the point that they're forcing people to lose their jobs when they've been 20-year vets, 30-year vets in medical industry that know what they're talking about, and they're
But
just like, no,
it's okay,
just resign.
Karen. But it's okay because they're giving you a child tax credit that you're gonna have to pay back at the end of the year.
Not me.
I like that. That was the perfect time for him to get a call, huh? You got him fired up, and he had to take his call.
It happens more often than not. So often that we have a saying, and it is said. Every time he goes, it is said. Typical Talon. Typical Talon.
Oh, that's funny. That is too hilarious. Well, you know what? I don't want to have the vaccination conversation because we are on different pages, and I don't want to have to hurt anybody's feelings or school anybody right now. So let's just keep it light. Keep talking.
Honestly, I don't have anything that I would need to support my position right now because I've been in respiratory therapy school.
I don't either. I just know my feelings. I'm a young person.
I wouldn't want to. I'm just anti-mandation. I'm not anti-vaccination, but I am anti-experimental mandate.
Well,
finish that shit.
We are living in the land of the free, and you're telling me that I can't be free unless I have this. So.
Yeah, that's not right. You got to pump those brakes. You can't be telling people that the best way to get prepared for hurricane season is to get fucking vaccinated. That's the most absurd shit I've ever heard a president say. Like, come on. That's not going to protect you from floods, high winds, and like all that. That's not the focus, buddy. It's not the focus.
The coronavirus is in the high winds.
Right? It actually moves faster, I heard.
No, it infects faster.
And then I've been working in a hospital too, so just like conflicting reports of how saturated it's been, and just people I know, and there's so much things that are very questionable and suspect, and things that are not. That makes this one of the most complicated times in history right now. However, what is not really debatable is the unbelievable downturn in freedom in Australia. It is insanity.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of resistance everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, as much as they can without their guns, we still got ours.
I tell you what has no resistance in COVID-19.
Hopefully we never need to use them. I don't want that. I want everything to be good. I don't want to act like I'm a dissenter. I'm not. I just think this is very suspect.
Yeah. It's I'm just gonna not say anything right now.
Hey, that's smart. You know whether or not to say something or to say something.
Yeah.
And also, you record. You're like, I'm gonna get them to say shit, and then I'm gonna hold it to just be like, I never actually said.
I'm just gonna
She's pleading the fifth.
No, I'm gonna let them talk and say what they need to say, and that's fine. And again, as like adults, we can agree to disagree, right? So I have my theory based in science and data and facts and people I know and all of that. And, medical professionals who are dealing with it firsthand, right? I mean, stuff is surging out here in the Bay Area. And
here in Florida too.
Oh yeah, I know in Florida. I mean, with that governor.
Well, it's not just the governor; it's his followers too. They're all stupid.
Right.
Yeah, we've all kind of known that about Florida. That's why there's Florida Man. Like we've endorsed Florida being Florida Man of America. So it's just been like, well, we're gonna let him be man. We're gonna let him be Florida.
I will still hold my position on never wanting to move here in the first place. So.
You never wanted to move there in the first place. So what? I mean, did they kidnap you or what?
When you're married, sometimes you have no choice.
Okay, but are you happy now? Are you glad you're there? Or
I mean, wherever my family is, I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna be happy. But
okay, but are
do
you?
I like to eat? No. Do I like the stupid people I encounter every day? No. Some of them are nice, but they're still dumb.
Like dumb in what way? I'm curious.
Different ways, not always. I'm not just talking about intellect. There's certain maneuvers that people make on a daily basis that render them under the category of stupid, but that's neither here nor there.
Okay.
In the very least, that's somebody who just drives too close to you on the highway. Anybody like that.
I don't even take the highway.
Huh?
I don't even take the highway, and they drive.
That sounds pretty stupid to me.
Not when there's a toll like every quarter mile.
Oh damn! For real?
No, it's a little more spread out than that. I'm just exaggerating.
That's terrible.
They do have hella tolls out here.
As much bullshit as California has, we don't have a lot of tolls. You'd think we would, but we don't.
And now, Paolin, what's your deal with California? Why do you want to get out of California? What's up with that?
Honestly, it's just getting more and more expensive, and I'm nowhere. Like I came out here under different pretenses. I just went through a divorce, and it was fine. But like things did not go the way they were gonna thought they would go. And I like the Central Coast. I like California as a state, but I'd rather go to somewhere else. I'd just rather see more. I don't need to be in California right now. I can come back later or
like you said,
whatever.
Bro,
It's just
we'll meet in
most of the time I spend here, I've been here for 4 years. I've been mostly working or just trying to work. And every time I work and I get to a new level, it's just like I get to a new place and the cost of living goes up. And recently gas, I swear, like every 2 weeks is going up like 10 cents, 20 cents. It's ridiculous. And that's just costing me a lot because being in school, I can only work part-time. So and I've been going to school 4 days, working 3 days, so I have no time off. And I've had medical problems come up recently because I've been overstressed and all that stuff. So it's just like, you know what? I need to take a beat, actually kind of focus on me, get back to what I'm doing, go see some people I know. Because I grew up in Connecticut. I was born in California, grew up in Connecticut, came back to California about 4 years ago.
Just be thankful it's only you that you have to support.
I mean, that's why I can do this. That's why, I can make these choices because I don't think anybody that has
Florida has a New York, California cost of living and a 1970s minimum wage. So
yeah, so like he said, I won't be going to Florida.
Well, maybe you can come back to California after we reach herd immunity.
Yeah, I'm not honestly as much general exposure I had probably last year when I was working at a different hospital with a different job. I'm not worried about COVID at all. I'm more concerned with something I have going on with my eye. Like I don't care. I don't care about it. Mainly because I don't pre-existing conditions. So because of that, I really just don't care. I understand why others should and would, especially with pre-existing conditions, especially if they're respiratory related. But I'm not concerned like that. I have other things that are more concerning to me than coronavirus. People are just disgusting, let alone coronavirus. I don't want to be covered in anybody's sputum, let alone if that sputum has coronavirus in it. And I have been covered in people's sputum.
Okay. TMI.
Yeah, I've experienced because of what I did at the before at the hospital. Like I've had just there's worse things. Honestly, you get kind of jaded and you're aware, but you're jaded to the point where it's like, I'm not gonna be afraid of that. I need to have a great future. I have to look to my name. You know?
Right. And I'm just giving you a hard time with the COVID thing because I know you're an anti-vaxxer. So I like
No, not an anti-vaxxer. I'm against an experimental vaccination. It's experimental. I just went through the schooling for this. 6 months is not the time frame of any vaccination ever. And if you look at the documents, the rest of their trials haven't finished. How can you know what the effects are on a pregnant woman when you haven't even gone 9 months? That's absurd. Let alone a child when they're going through development for how long? That's absurd. That I'm not anti-vax.
okay.
That's not the case.
Okay, I got you.
Your phone is ringing.
I got you. You better get that.
Well, Miss Sue, we are not going to take up your whole night. I know you are a busy woman and you are working on another book right now. What is that book called?
I don't actually have a title for it yet, but it is going to be a memoir, and it's I'm going to have some details, some personal details in there, and on life, love, grief, loss, overcoming that.
Well, we hope to have you on Talking Junk again when that book comes out, so maybe you can read a couple passages for us.
Oh, awesome. I would love that, Jason. Thank you so much. You guys are hilarious. It's been real. And
Why? Thank you. We try.
Okay. Now, you have to tell me where that came from.
Like I said, I have kids.
Okay.
I literally went through, what was it? Maybe a 3 to 4 year span that nothing in my house was played unless it was Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. So you kind of get the, hey, you want to come inside my clubhouse? All right. I want to kill myself.
That was awesome. You should go work at Disneyland.
I don't think they pay enough for me
Okay.
to be in that hot suit.
Well,
But now if you're talking about going to work for Disney Studios and getting a couple of these in, I'm all for it. Just point me in the right direction.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I mean that's it can be a lucrative business, that voiceover work.
Oh yeah.
So
hopefully, I mean, we throw me and Talon. We're probably the only two on the two respective shows that we do that do voices. So we throw little bits and pieces of voices out every episode to kind of liven the show up. So hopefully one day somebody will see us and give us a cartoon or even a radio show. I'll take whatever I can get.
wow, well, you know what? You're on your way. This is amazing. I love that you guys are going live every Friday night. I was listening to some of I didn't see you take any shots tonight. You look like you're under the weather a little bit.
No. I didn't take my allergy medicine, which I got to go do in a little bit.
Okay.
But I am always sitting at the bar, so there's always a liquor bottle in range.
Okay.
So
there we go.
Shots are always on the table.
That is awesome. Well, you've been wonderful. I guess
you've been wonderful. I've just been Jason.
Thank you. Now, I would love to say bye to Talon, but who knows how long he's going to be, right? Maybe series of
he could be 2 seconds or 2 hours. But we want to thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to send you that break room invite so you can come behind the scenes with us and chill out for a little while.
I would love that.
Ironically, the break room goes live every Saturday night on the same station.
Oh, okay. And that's when
we go a little longer.
Right. And it sounds like that's Talon's night when he gets super wild.
Yeah, he goes balls to the wall on Saturday nights. Well, thank you, Sue. Thank you for coming on. And thank you, Junkers, for tuning in. Remember, if you miss these lives, you can always catch us.
Thank you for coming on. Sorry, I had to keep dipping out, and I just kind of said all that and then left. I didn't mean to do that.
Hey, thank you. It was great meeting you, Talon.
Just remember, you catch us every Friday night live on Periscope, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Or you can catch us in the archives on Spotify, Apple Pod, Google Pod, or wherever the hell you listen to your podcasts. Bye!
Welcome to Talking Junk.